Jasmine Crockett stood alone on the rooftop of the congressional building, the early morning sun washing the city in golden light. From up here, Washington, D.C. looked almost peaceful, like a city carved from hope and stitched together by dreams. But inside Jasmine, it felt like a war zone. Her thoughts were a tangle of headlines, angry emails, and sound bites from yesterday's hearing. And today, she had to face Caroline Leavitt. Again. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Jasmine had run for office with fire in her soul and love in her heart. She had promised to be a voice for the unheard, to carry the burdens of her community with grace and resolve. But somewhere along the way, she had grown weary. The shouting, the condescension, the relentless demand to prove her worth over and over again, it was exhausting. And now, a camera-hungry conservative firebrand was making her life a media circus. Caroline Leavitt, sharp-tongued and relentless, had come into Congress like a comet. Brash, unapologetic, and convinced she was saving the country. She was everything Jasmine wasn't, cool under fire, untouched by personal trauma, and frighteningly good at going for the jugular. Their every exchange was a duel, every hearing a battlefield. But today would be different. That morning, the committee room was silent, save for the clicking of pens and the occasional cough. The hearing on urban education reform was in its third hour. Jasmine sat in the front row, papers in hand, jaw clenched. Caroline was scheduled to speak next. When Caroline began her testimony, her voice was steady and crisp. "We cannot continue pouring money into broken systems and expecting miracles," she said. "We need accountability, not excuses." Jasmine's hands trembled. Then Caroline turned, directly addressing Jasmine. "Representative Crockett, your district ranks among the lowest in academic performance. How do you explain that?" The room went still. Gasps fluttered like birds across the chamber. Cameras zoomed in. Jasmine rose slowly. She could feel the pressure behind her eyes, the firestorm rising in her chest. Her voice cracked as she began, but she didn't care. "You want to talk about failure?" she said. "Let's talk about kids going to school hungry. Let's talk about broken air conditioning in 100-degree classrooms. Let's talk about teachers working 2 jobs to afford rent. Don't stand there and ask me why things are broken if you don't understand the people living through it." Her voice rose, tears streaming down her face. "Do you think I haven't asked myself these same questions every single day? I don't have the luxury of playing politics with people's lives, Caroline. I see them. I hold them when they cry. I walk their streets. This isn't a game to me." Caroline looked stunned. For the first time, she had no rebuttal ready. There was silence. Then something unexpected happened. Caroline slowly stood. She took a breath, stepped forward, and said something no one saw coming. "I don't know what it's like, to live through that. But I want to." The air shifted. Later that week, Caroline called Jasmine personally. She asked to visit her district. Jasmine, still wary, agreed. For the next 2 days, they walked together, through school hallways, shelters, community centers. They met students whose parents worked 3 jobs, children who read by flashlight during power outages, and teachers who paid for supplies out of their own pockets. Caroline was silent most of the time. Watching. Listening. One night, after visiting a food pantry, they sat in a small church parking lot. Jasmine was tired, drained. She leaned against the hood of her car, arms folded. Caroline sat beside her, quiet. "I was raised to think everything was black and white," Caroline said finally. "You work hard, you succeed. If you don't, it's your fault. But I never had to wonder if the lights would stay on." Jasmine looked at her, surprised. "I thought you were the enemy," Caroline admitted, "but now I think, maybe we're just fighting different battles on the same field." In that moment, something broke open between them, not agreement, not friendship exactly, but understanding. And that was a start. Back in Washington, Caroline gave a floor speech that made national headlines. I came to Congress with answers. Jasmine Crockett reminded me to start with questions. The people we serve aren't statistics, they are stories. And I will never again pretend to know their struggles without first walking beside them. The clip went viral. That night, Jasmine sat in her apartment, watching the speech with tears in her eyes. Not because she had won, but because something rare had happened, empathy had broken through the noise. Months passed. Together, they co-authored a bipartisan bill to increase funding for school infrastructure in underserved areas. It passed with overwhelming support. And somewhere along the way, the two women, so different in ideology, upbringing, and voice, had become allies in something greater than politics. Hope. The world didn't change overnight. But a few classrooms got new roofs. A few kids got free lunches. A few teachers got the support they needed. And two leaders, once sworn enemies, had shown the country what could happen when hearts opened wider than party lines. Because sometimes, losing it isn't about breaking down. Sometimes, it's the beginning of breaking through.